did do for us. But we weren't treated like the other kids in the household. And all the while my dad was using drugs, wouldn't come home for days. So, you know, you lose your mom. Your dad's not coming home, so what do? So I got angry. I was angry inside. I did all manners of things that I shouldn't have done. I got in trouble at a young age. So now I'm about 11, 12, going into middle school. Every other day was a referral. Dad had to come when they could get me from school. Went to high school and tried to come into myself. Tried to just find out who am I. You know, after hearing my aunts tell me, let me back up. At 9, I used to hear my aunt say, you're going to be just like your mom. My mom had 4 kids. You're not going to be anything. Because I would always, even in the midst of the things that happened, I would always excel in school. I would, as a young child, I would have the A's and the B's and the E's. Back then, I guess it was E's, but, you know, and my aunt would always tell me, you're not going to be anything. You're going to be just like your mom. You're going to have all these kids. You're going to do drugs. You're going to do this. And, you know, she would just, out of nowhere, and that would be the conversation. That's just the conversation piece. Like we're over dinner where we tell our kids now that they're going to do great things, and we cultivate that. My aunt would tell me, you're just going to be a nobody. You're just not going to do anything. And so, you know, I kind of started believing that. You know, I lost that worthiness of who I really am and who God wanted me to be. Because back then I didn't know God. I wasn't in the church up until I went to college. I was in Catholic church, and that was just going because they made us go in my house. So, you know, it came to a point where I was 16, lost my virginity, because I didn't know who I was. After losing my virginity and I guess calling myself finding that way, I was raped. Put myself in situations too, and I'm not gonna say that's my fault because it's never your fault, but I did put myself in a situation to allow that to happen. Well, has it as we move forward?
Take your time. Take your time. Now, wow. When you met your wife, Minister Christopher, when you met her and when she started telling you about her testimony, how in the situation you are in now, why she's giving her testimony now, how as a minister you encourage her to share her testimony? Because somebody needs to hear this testimony. There's so many people out there hurting. So many people out there is dragging their past all the way up to their adulthood and need to realize that God can deliver them. But yet, doesn't God tell us we should share our testimony?
Yes, the Bible firmly states that we are overcome by our testimony.
That's right.
And the thing is that if I can kind of go back to as well, is that first of all, me meeting her, I met her while I was in college, coming from Jacksonville, and really understanding who she was. And at that point in time, I couldn't handle the person that she was. Because it's very, very difficult for me to have to deal with, because for the fact that I grew up in what you consider a traditional nuclear type home. My life was not necessarily full of beautiful and great things, but also my life experiences never really allowed me to be able to experience those things. So meeting someone like that in that capacity is quite difficult. Trying to understand the pain, trying to understand the difficulties and how they affect you for over a lifetime. And it took me a very, very long time, because her and I went through a lot of, you know, ups and downs around about things I just could not really understand or grasp, even though my heart was there for her. It's just that there just was certain things that I just could not understand, the way that she would react to certain situations, how she would handle certain situations, and I just wasn't used to that. And the first thing, just like what any man would do what? Is run.
That's right, exactly.
And because of the things you really don't understand. And as we grew older and really started to communicate more, and that was the key right there. Being able to communicate, and then me being a willing vessel to sit down and listen and not try to fix her situation. Because a lot of times we as men, we think logically. And we want to be able to try to fix the situation, and try to say everything's going to get better. But she had to be able to take that time to be able to release those things out.
Yeah, healing process.
Exactly, to be able to go through that process. So as we grew and be able to go through that healing process with her, you know, there were ups and downs, because I mean, there could be days this way and days that way, but you know, I saw the beauty in her. What I told her a long time ago is that I said, I can't grasp or even understand the things that you've been through, because I have never had an opportunity to walk in your shoes. I said, but what I see in you is nothing but just a jar of clay that's being molded and shaped. And just like all of us, we are on the potter's wheel, and sometimes we have to be able to, while we're on the potter's wheel and being shaped and molded, sometimes that potter has to take this little stick and be able to try to be able to get those fine lines in there, to be able to try to get it to the place where it needs to be. And then also sometimes he has to start back all over again and to build it back up again.
That's right.
So, and that's where we are right now, really understanding and knowing that she's a beautiful vessel.
Yes, she is.
Where there may be cracks in the vase. But the fact of the matter is that she's a shining vessel, and that's the reason why she's able to go and encourage other young women, young girls who are really going through this. And by us being educators, we see this a lot every day in our public school systems. Yeah. I mean, the issues and the situations that these young people have to deal with on a day-by-day basis, and the lives that they actually live once they step outside of the school doors. You will be surprised at the situation they deal with, and it's just such a blessing that the school that she's at, she's able to be that guiding light and really give them the real about how life is, and also encourage them to build them up, because we need that, especially for our young ladies. If our young ladies don't know who they are, then the only thing they're going to do is try to find young men who really don't know who they are, and they end up having babies and take advantage of the situation, and then before you know it, we have a generation of young people not knowing exactly who they are, their purpose of their life.
That's good. That's good. You okay?
Yeah, I just was thinking, and to fast forward, because kind of the college life, and he gave you the closed version, but I became very violent. A lot of people don't know that side of me. I became, the anger literally ate me up inside, and it caused me to be extremely violent, to the point of where I would have windows burst out. I would fight him daily.